Annyeonghaseyo, my name is Rajesh from Cameroon and welcome to another episode of Culture Talk. So we'll be talking about the various environmental policies in Korea.
Dina, I'm from Russia.
Rajesh, I'm from Cameroon.
Chen, I'm from America.
Jura, I'm from Netherlands.
Flower, I'm from South Africa.
Presenting Culture Talk.
What do you guys think about the environmental policies in Korea?
I think Korea is very efficient in their recycling system. Well, for the most part. For the most part, they're quite structured. I love the idea of food waste going separately. I'm a big advocate of recycling. I think it's very important. I think they're very encompassing in terms of recycling everything. So there's plastic, glass, paper, sometimes even cardboard, sometimes even styrofoam. It gets really intense in some places.
I'm not sure if they do actually give you really high fines or if it's just like a way to scare you. I've been told that if you like put a metal can with the paper, you can get like a Pac-Man fine. That's like $1,000. That's like crazy much.
But I do think it's important because honestly, in America at least, like if there's no threat, like people won't do it. Sometimes we're inherently lazy with a system that's easier for us. And to all of a sudden be like, you need to recycle. Some people don't want to, or some people don't think it's important, which they should. Everyone should recycle.
I think mostly the problem is to getting actually used to knowing like where to put where. That's my main problem. It's like I would love to do that, but I sometimes just don't know where to put stuff into.
Sometimes things need to be labeled a bit more clearly.
In Russia, we don't actually have recycling. It's just barely starting.
Does everyone just put it in one bag?
Everything is in one bag. Just recently, maybe like a year or something, a little bit more, we started doing plastic. But my main problem, if I live alone, so obviously I don't have lots of waste. I have to throw it all in one bag and then I have to waste the whole bag to throw it away because of the food. So that's why I prefer like a small bag for just food waste and you just throw it away when you need to.
Definitely makes you like more aware. But yeah, compared to South Africa, I definitely think Korea is probably right up there with probably one of the most efficient recycling systems in the world. However, I do find it a bit ironic. I know tons of foreigners will agree with me on this. There are no just general trash cans like on the street. Like you hit Itaewon and Hongdae, my God, it's like an apartment pile size of like trash. So I feel like we need to work on that a little bit.
Sometimes when you go out for like a nightclub and something, and obviously when you go home, you see so much trash. It's everywhere. But then if you go there in the morning, it's clean. They do clean up.
I do feel like they're good about recycling, sure, but there is still this very bad attitude of like just throwing away something on the floor. I don't know if you guys feel the same. I feel in general the mindset in Korea is still very much like, it doesn't matter.
As far as fining is concerned, a friend, we were all in class and then she was called up. They just handed her over like a note bill to go pay a certain fine. She had all her waste wrapped up and just thrown somewhere beside the road. But they could actually figure out her name because there was a name tag. So they came to her and gave her the fine. Also in Seoul, for instance, depends on what part of Seoul you are in. There are some parts where you can, just throw away stuff and go free. But there are some parts, if you throw away stuff, they're going to track you down and then come get you.
I kind of understand people like for throwing trash on the street because it's just extremely hard to find public trash cans. I have a lot of times when I want to just like buy a sandwich at the convenience store and I eat it outside and I'm like, oh, I have to walk all the way back to the convenience store to throw away that.
In New York, for example, a lot of people kind of abuse public trash cans and they actually take their personal garbage and throw it in the public trash can. And there are fines associated, but it's hard to find you in a big city. So I was wondering maybe that's sort of the reason like people might abuse this idea of public trash cans versus throwing them away back home. Because you also, in Korea, you have to pay like 4 trash cans like individually versus in America you just go and you can use whatever plastic bag you have lying around the house.
They're not cheap.
Right.
Throwing trash away is expensive in Korea.
A Korean friend of mine said we all pay that's recycling tax and I'm like, how is that possible? When you get to Daiso or probably somewhere, they now include the tax money into the plastic bag. I mean, I think it's a pretty good thing which they're actually doing, unlike other countries where, like mine, where they actually give you the plastic bags for free.
But it really depends on the store, because if you go like to H&M or something in a clothing store, they will give you the bag. I like the small details in Korea, just like it makes me happy.
Like the cuteness on the plastic bags, right?
That's a different thing for me, but like in different areas, they actually have the plastic bags are different, like because they have the lettering like different, like this is bag for this area. In my country, they wouldn't even thinking about that.
I buy something at the convenience store, I buy like a lot of stuff, I pay and it's done, and then I'm like, oh, can I get it back? Oh yeah, sure, but that's Ichibon. So I have to give my card again, and I'm like, of course I want it back.
I carry around eco bags all the time because I'm always in that situation. I never want to be like without a bag in that sense.
Coffee addicts here now. I'm loving the new policy that they've brought in.
So what's the new rule?
If you stay in the coffee shop, they won't give you a plastic.
They will give you a mug or a paper cup if you're sitting down. So I must say I'm loving that. I think that is a huge thing.
But I think there is actually a new Korean policy to stop dumping waste into the China Sea. So there is so much like research where they are trying to use like sea algae to produce like baggage bags and all of that. So there's so much work which is actually being done. I think maybe in the next decade or so they won't really have waste recycling problem in Korea.
Again, I do think this idea of like finding people and like finding them, I think the threat of that is just enough for most people.
I'm terrified, there's CCTV cameras all over my apartment, and I'm like the only Weiguk in my block as well, so it's like, that ginger one, she's throwing her trash.
You always feel watched in Korea, because there's like more CCTVs than people.
I do have the same feeling too.
If you're a foreigner, like they'll find you.
I think it also depends on what kind of ajumas live in your place.
Well, mine takes his job very seriously. He's a lovely older Jushi, and he does help me as well because he knows I'm like really bubble with Korean.
What do you guys actually think about the different age groups as far as waste recycling in Korea is concerned?
Old people are great at recycling. So like a lot of the elderly, they love getting your boxes, and they're really the people who take them to the recycling plant so they can make a little extra income for themselves.
I think it's very different in my country because recycling is so new. So actually, like my generation, they will recycle, but then the older people, they're not used to it. They're like, I don't want to do it.
And compared to South Africa, I feel South African, my generation, and we're very much like all about the environment and like the must love trees, and we're like the hippie generation of South Africa. Compared to Koreans that are my age, the older generation, I feel, are more concerned about it.
It's getting used to it. It's just like if you teach the younger kids to do it, by your age, they will be experts.
Yeah, but like also in my country, if we actually see people just throwing something on the street, other people might approach these people and actually point it towards them and tell them like, hey, just get that up. In Korea, it's also kind of like people don't really talk that much to strangers, so maybe they might think, okay, he's doing a bad thing, but they don't really act like they care.
I've done that. I've done what you do in your country. I'm like, please pick it up, and then I'm not very popular.
Oh, you've done that in Korea?
Yeah, I have. Because I feel strongly about picking up trash off the street.
People are shocked when you suddenly like.
Yeah, I don't think they appreciate my openness at all. It's like, who are you? You're a foreigner from South Africa.
I think it's also because like they're already trash and they're not very nice people.
I feel like here in Korea, if you're smoking in a place where like you're not allowed to smoke, how high the fines are for that, but they do not like actually fine, because all the time I see like people smoking in front of no smoking sign.
But we all know that older people is just the exception.
Right, yeah.
Recently there's more higher taxes on cigarettes, and they don't really put many smoking areas. So people are kind of like angry towards the government for like not having enough smoking area. It's kind of like just rebellion.
It's like you make me pay more, but you don't give me a place to smoke. Right?
In Netherlands, you can smoke on a lot of places, but if there's like a no smoking area and you smoke there, you get fined like big time. Here you get away with it a lot of times,
Yeah, again, like the intentions are definitely there. The system is definitely in place. Everything comes with a fine. This is the secret to recycling. You have to fine everyone.
The government, they should actually fine you and not just say they're gonna fine you and then not do it. They see the warning, but they're like, whatever, they're not gonna fine me anyways. If they actually just fine every time, then people might like change their mind, you know?
And I just like some more trash cans in Korea in general.
And maybe cheaper trash bags.
I kind of like it. Like, it places heavy importance on needing to preserve the planet. I just think it's important to think about how much you're consuming as an individual. I don't know if Korea is intentionally doing that in that sense, but that is something I would love to bring back to America. We're known for big consumption, and it's very wasteful. And I think that's really commendable in Korea, that they do that. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, they are doing it.
Alright guys, thanks for watching our video and don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe, like, comment.
You go.
And bye guys!
Bye.